Namaskaram, welcome to the Crescent world. Today let us discuss what is happening in Pakistan. So Pakistan has offered to broker a deal between Iran and USA. And then yesterday Iran's delegation has reached Islamabad like in 3 flights, and 2 were decoys and 1 which carried the actual delegation. And today morning US Vice President J.D. Vance along with his delegation have arrived in Islamabad, and the talks are like to be started very soon. We have to just ask a question, like first day of this war, that is 28th of February, the attack started on Iran, which killed the supreme leader of Iran, so Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and then which made another Ayatollah to take over is like Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei. And then there is a regime change which happened, which according to US is a success. And then US has been continuously bombarding the nuclear facilities in Iran, say Isfahan, so and other areas. US have been continuously like attacking, as well as in June month they dropped a very large amount of armaments on these nuclear facilities, and then they said like everything is over, the enriched uranium cannot be retrieved, and all these things were it is not going to work. And after doing all these things last year, is like USA have attacked Iran continuously in last 40 days, and that is also second reason. So they are going on and on and on. Finally they went to Pakistan for broking a deal between Iran and USA, which US has been asking for like long time, say for 40 days or more than 40 days. Since 2006 February or March 4th, they have been asking this deal. They have been asking for the ceasefire. And finally Iran yielded like 2 days ago, like 2-3 days ago on Tuesday they yielded, and then they said like, okay, let us go back to the table and start working on a peace plan or what next. And then Iran has given Pakistan, that is like a 10 points which has to be followed in the event of ceasefire. And Pakistan had given 2 versions, that is one is Persian version, another one is English version. And then they said there is a discrepancy in between Persian version as well as the English version, which like Iran says like it will enrich uranium, it will go on with their nuclear program, and then Strait of Hormuz will be controlled by both Iran and Oman. So this will be on, and US has to pay for whatever damages they have inflicted on the Iran's territory, and then the bases must go from this region. So these are like few of the points which Iran has given Pakistan to be conveyed to USA. We don't know how many points did Pakistan actually convey from Iran to USA, because USA says like they cannot, like Iran cannot enrich uranium, and then Hormuz must be opened without any conditions. These 2 conditions were not present, or these are non-negotiable conditions according to the Iran. But Pakistan has given all the 10. US says it receives all the 10, but it is not accepting the point that say uranium enrichment, Hormuz Strait and other things. And one more thing we have to look. Pakistan has said about Lebanon, so there must be peace, there must be ceasefire in also Lebanon side, in like say Israel's like northern side. But Israel continues to attack Beirut. US like is silent on it. Israel even now it is attacking Lebanon, and then there are many civilian casualties in that region. Say on the day where like they announced ceasefire, there was almost 250 casualties, like death, and then 1,000 plus were injured, and then most of the civilian infrastructures will be targeted by Israel. And then despite after doing all these things, Pakistan claims that they have succeeded in getting Iran and USA on the single table. And we are forgetting one thing. These Pakistanis, they were celebrating by holding their passport on their forehead and saying like, we have won like in achieving the peace in the region, and then we have started brokering a deal between Iran and USA. And we all know the peace in the region cannot happen without participation of Israel as well as the countries from the Middle East or the West Asia. Namely, say Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, all these countries, they must have a say because they are also affected in this war. And then Israel is affected in this war because they lost many things, and then they have been completely let alone by US-led coalition in some areas, and then they have been getting attacks continuously in the last month. Without Iran negotiating with Israel and without West Asian countries negotiating with Iran, so this war is not going to be ended, or the US is not going to allow all the happenings to continue, because US in this region controls all the military activities of these West Asian countries. Israel gets armaments mostly from US, and then they get it from many other countries, but still US supplies their main armament. There are many joint projects which happens between US and Israel, and then without US inviting Israel to participate in this table, this peace talks will not get success. Point number one. If you want to get Israel in this table, there is a technical difficulty which we want to tell Pakistan, all the Pakistanis who celebrated by holding their passport over their forehead. Technically, we must know one thing. For the Pakistanis who have shown their passport in the celebration mood of celebration, so your passport contains a page, the first page, which says this passport is valid for every country except for the state of Israel. So technically, Israel doesn't exist for your country. So you cannot call a country for participating in a dialogue which is very important for this peace deal. So you cannot claim success even after you can make Iran and US to sit on a table. If you are not allowing Israel to come and talk, if you are not talking about Lebanon, if you are not talking about the West Asian countries, GCC countries, you are not going to achieve anything. You may have bought time for both USA as well as Iran for enriching or for enhancing their warring capability, but technically there is no peace because there is no chance for Israel to participate in this, and then you have never reached out for your GCC partners for getting this peace deal successful. So US has always been discussing or going on negotiating with Iran, but they have never got success since 1979. It happened during their embassy crisis, it happened during 2015, it happened during 2021, even before the days which the war started. 27th of February, US and Iran sat together and discussed about this, all the points which Iran has already given. So US and Iran were continuously negotiating for this, and there has been no deal happening for more than a decade, more than 2 decades. Nothing is successful. But Pakistanis claim this will be a success. We don't know how this works. So that is where the Pakistanis general celebration comes. Wherever they celebrate, whenever they celebrate, it ends. Like their cricket fan meme, so which worldwide it is famous. The same way, so there will be a dropped catch. The same way, this US-Iran deal will not going to get success until they reach for Israel. But if Israel has to come, there are 2 conditions which we can see. Either this venue has to be moved to Dubai or Qatar, which is not going to happen because they are also in trouble, or it can be moved to London, where they regularly meet. As we saw in Durandar movie, whenever Pakistanis and Israelis meet, it has to happen in some other country, either in West Asia or in European countries, maybe in some other country. But this truce which Pakistan is dreaming of is not going to start, or it is not going to get kicked off. So until you get everyone on the table, you cannot get, say, the peace. So Pakistan may have started the celebration. Pakistan may have started the celebration in, say, getting USA and Iran together. But will that stop the war? No, it is not going to stop the war because of the technical reasons I said. And who has achieved in getting onto the table? I say Iran, because when Iran landed on the tarmac of Pakistani Air Force Station, say they have one thing very clearly stated, that is they went on in 3 planes and then 2 were decoys and 1 is actual delegation. So that shows Pakistan cannot be trusted as well as the USA cannot be trusted. And then even Iran's parliament speaker said, we come in good faith, but are we believing it or we are trusting them? No. So that is the answer which he gave. So they come with an open mind for a discussion. But every time, he also continues to say, every time we discuss, US attacks Iran. So this is what is repetitive process. So that thing, Iran's parliament speaker said it. So Iran, it is operating on, say, open mind, but it is not believing for positive outcome. So that is point number 1. Point number 2, they went on to this peace talks on the name of Minab 168. That is the name the delegation of Iran carries. What is Minab? Minab is a place where the school children were attacked by the US-led coalition on the first day of the attacks. So where 150 plus school children died. So now Iran has a technical advantage. Iran has clearly shown what happened in their country and how US-led strikes attacked the civilians, particularly children. The whole world is now witnessing what they call a war crime. And then now US cannot go and say we did not attack, because everything they have given. Iran has given all the technical data. Iran has given all, say, the CCTV footage which clearly says it is a US missile which is attacking the school. So now US has to reply the allegation, or they have to reply for their war crimes which they conducted in Iran. And they have many other places they have conducted this. But Iran successfully portrayed whatever happened in their country with this peace talk. So that is the first point we can take. Secondly, they have given a photograph where they have taken the bags of the children who have died in the attack, and then they kept one white rose, and along with that they have kept photographs of the children who have been killed in this attack. So by doing this, Iran has clearly shown the world what was happening in their country, what was their opponents doing, and they have to answer. So that is the thing which Iran has conveyed to the world. So which US and US's allies have to answer in this war. So Iran starts with an advantage of being a victim. And then one more thing Iran is stating is they are asking for payback for all the damages which has been done to them by these attacks by United States. So will US be able to provide all the money? And then what happened before war, what happened after war? US has lost many things. Number 1, Strait of Hormuz. They thought Strait of Hormuz was always open. But now Donald Trump has clearly handed over the keys of Strait of Hormuz to the Iran, and then which is asking open the strait. And Iran's embassy answers, we lost the keys. So this is the condition of United States administration, which has clearly lost Strait of Hormuz, all the allies in the Gulf region. When this war stops, all the people in the region, I'm talking about West Asia, they'll question their government, why we are having the United States bases here when our things are getting attacked. US is not able to do anything, and even US's base is getting hit, and There is no point in having US base here. This will be the question the West Asian people of all the countries, GCC countries, will be asking. This will spread to the eastern side. That is also one of the points we must consider. Because yesterday, opposition party leader of Taiwan has gone to meet Xi Jinping of China. And then they have something to say. So US is technically losing a war in Iran, and it is losing allies, and it may lose many bases in the eastern side also. So Iran is now telling the world that the war in the region is over, and even if it continues, we are ready to fight, because US's intelligence again says China is giving arms to Iran. And then there are many ships which are sent from China to Iran in, say, the name of third country, and then there may be some shady deal where countries will arm Iran for continuing the fight. Ceasefire which Pakistan has brokered may be taken as the operation is success, but the patient died. That equation will aptly fit this Pakistan brokered US-Iran deal, because it is not going to work. Technically, US is losing this. Iran, even though they lost this war, they are gaining it. And US is losing their, say, the global leader tag. And then even they are losing their European allies. And then they have technically diluted the NATO. That is what is happening. And then they have gone to even ask Pakistan for a peace deal. So Donald Trump has brought US from the first world global leader to a third world country mediated truce. So that is what is happening today. And let us see how this brokered peace deal comes out. And even if it is coming out positively, it may last for a few days or a week. That is what we can see. Let us wait and hope for a peaceful world. Thanks for watching. Meet you in another episode of Crescent World. Thank you.